that one was particularly science fiction. I think that was the first time I ever did something like that.
Yeah.
I was living in L.A. in the 70s, and New York was really in trouble. We were going to default financially. The city was in terrible shape. Crime everywhere, murder, drugs all over the street. Times Square was a mess. And I was going to go back to New York because, remember the headline, Ford to New York, drop dead.
Right.
And everybody in L.A. at the time was like, ha ha, we can't wait to see New York go down the tubes. Ah, screw New York. We hate New York. And I go, I'm going back. New York's going down the tubes. I'm going to go there and go back.
Right.
And I was out there for 3 years and went back to New York. And I had this vision of, well, what happens if we default? What's going to happen? There's going to be fires, there's going to be looting, there's going to be shooting, there's going to be all kinds of crazy stuff
It's
going
like
on.
Road Warrior. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, that's where the song came from.
Wow, and you created that whole universe, and that's one of my favorite songs that you do. And also, it's still rock and roll to me. The reason I like that song so much too is because you kind of comment on what it is to be a rock star, and you have to be so cool, and everybody has to wear the right kind of clothes and this and that. And none of that was important to you, right? I mean, that was the annoying part of being a rock star, I think.
Well, I was just kind of making a comment on style. I mean, sometimes the press gave me a hard time, and I like giving them a hard time back.
Right.
In my neighborhood, it's not turn the other cheek. Somebody hits you, you hit them right back. So I said, well, it doesn't matter what they say in the papers, because it's always been the same old scene. They don't like that.
Right.
There's a new band in town. You can't get the sound from the story in a magazine. Ooh, boy, you're asking for it. So, and I just wanted to comment on, style. They were talking about this new kind of music, and I recognized it as old power pop. Remember, what was it? You push it too hard, you're pushing on me, you're pushing, or 99, 99. What was that song? Question mark in the 96
Yeah,
years.
96 years.
Too many teardrops for one heart, too big crying. That's, old power pop, which sounds kind of like punk and new wave. And it was a lot of stuff like that. So I said, I hear it, but it's not, I like it. It's not particularly new.
Yeah, because I remember when the Cars came out and stuff, everyone was like, well, this is new wave. And even Police came out and everything was new wave. What's that stuff? The throat spray?
This is a throat spray. It's called The Entertainer's Secret. And it keeps your vocal cords moist. And I used to make a joke about seeing Madonna use it.
Right.
And they changed that to, I saw Ted Nugent use it once.
Yeah.
But it didn't really make him sound any better because he probably wasn't spraying it up his ass.
Yeah. But there's not heroin in it. That's the good thing.
Anyway, but stay with still rock and roll because I realize...
still rock and roll to me, I'm talking about image now. When you're a rock star and you start to lose your hair, like, is that a traumatic thing? Because so much, it is, right? Was that...
It sucks.
How old were you when you started to lose your hair?
Started losing my hair when I was in my 50s.
50s?
Early 50s, yeah. Right. My dad was completely bald.
Right.
And his father was bald. And I said, oh, no. I don't want to go there. Please.
Yeah.
I'm in rock and roll. I need my hair. And I always had crappy hair anyway. And I would, torture it with a hair dryer and put all kinds of stuff in it, and it left me.
Right.
Because I treated it badly. I deserved to go.
And it's a major trauma, right? Because when you're on stage, you're worried about your look and the whole thing. And did you ever consider a toupee? Did you ever say to yourself, that's it, I'm going to go to some kind of hair?
Nah, I saw too many bad rugs in my life. Right. You're going to go bald, embrace it, make it your own.
Right. You did the right thing. I'm really glad you did that.
Well, I worked with somebody who had a rug, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly who.
And it's like a pain in the ass. You got to make it stay on and all that stuff. But wait, I'm going to go back to still rock and roll because I realized something with that song. The chords in that song go... Maybe I should buy... See if you can find this. Lay across my big brass band. What's the matter with the crowd? I'm singing. So, thank you, Bob.
By the way, so that's brave of you to admit that. In other words, you say, hey, I get inspired by other people's songs. I listen to that progression, I hear that, and then I can write my own song to it.
Well, I didn't even realize I was inspired by that one. I just realized that's a really kind of cool chord progression that Dylan did on that song. And then, but doing like this, you don't really notice the chords. I didn't steal it consciously.
Right.
I suppose I just You know, we all have chord progressions, and some of them are as old as the hills, like that one. Blue moon, Earth Angel, Earth Angel's been done 50 million times.
Right.
So there's only so many chords you can pick from.
The song "Goodnight Saigon," and the reason I bring this up too, because I want to get to this. You have always said that you hate political songs. You didn't like anti-war songs specifically, right? You hated Country Joe and the Fish, Vietnam and all that.
Nah, I don't like somebody telling me how to think.
But yet this song is about Vietnam and the war and all of this. And you're right. You're not a guy who served in the army. You weren't a soldier. You've said many times you would have gone to Canada, as I would have if I had to serve in that war. It would seem pretty senseless. And yet you wrote this beautiful song from a soldier's point of view. Now, is that something hard to do? Do you have to go do research about being a soldier?
I wanted to do that for my friends who did go to Nam.
Right.
A lot of them came back from being in country and really had a hard time getting over it. And still to this day, I think a lot of them are having a hard time. They were never really welcomed back. And whether you agreed with the war or not, these guys really took it on the chin. I mean,
Right.
They went over there and they served, and they never really got their due. And they sat me down and said, "We want you to write a song." I said, "Well, I wasn't there. I don't know what to write." And they said, "We'll tell you what to write." And they kind of went through it. It was really all about them depending on each other. When they were over there, they weren't thinking about mom, apple pie, and the flag. They were doing it for each other, you know, to try to help and save each other and protect each other. And that really hit me. And I realized there's a great book about the Civil War called The Red Badge of Courage, written by a guy named Stephen Crane.
Right.
He wasn't in that war, but when you read that book, you go, how could that guy not have been in this war? It's so real and so authentic. He was just told, he talked to soldiers and found out what went on and wrote the book. I said, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Did Vietnam vets come to you after a show and say, "Hey, thank you for writing it," or do they think that you served in Vietnam? Because it seems like you really, know what you're talking about there.
No, I don't. That was never brought up to me. But we bring them on stage and we have them sing with us.
I know that's a great moment in your life.
And they, it's finally like bringing them home and giving them a little bit of a parade and a welcome back. But they like to do that. I like to do that for them.
Was the specific song you're referring to that you didn't like, Country Joe and the Fish?
1, 2, 3, what are we fighting
Come on,
for?
all of you big strong men, Uncle Sam needs your help again.
Yeah.
Got himself
That
a
bothered
terrible
you.
jam.
That bothered you.
I was in Woodstock and this hippie comes on stage and starts playing 1, 2, 3, what are we fighting for? And I'm thinking, this song sucks. But it wasn't even about the lyric. It sucked as a song.
It was just a bad song.
Yeah, and this hippie's up there. Hey, man, come on, everybody, smoke pot. Do this, do that.
Billy,
Fuck
were
the
you
war.
at Woodstock?
I was at Woodstock.
Now, why are you not in the Woodstock movie?
I wasn't playing there. I was in the audience with
You were
everybody
in the
else.
audience.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you to sit there and watch people? I mean, how old were you at the time Woodstock happened?
I was 20.
20. So you
Yeah.
weren't a superstar. You weren't known at that
No,
point.
I was
All
not.
right. So you actually went to Woodstock to hang out.
Yeah.
And who did you go with?
I went on a motorcycle. I went on an old BSA, and which I'm glad I did because the traffic was so bad you couldn't get beyond a certain part of the throughway.
Right.
And I left the bike there near the fence and just walked in and went, oh, okay, this is cool. Millions of people, and this was great.
How long did you stay for?
I stayed for about a day and a half. I wanted to see Hendrix.
Right.
But then I needed to use the bathroom facilities. And I'm not a bear.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And the porta sands were pretty primitive, and there was a lot of mud, and I think you had to do acid to stay there for 3 days.
Was there free love involved when you were there?
I was hoping
You were
there
hoping.
was.
Nothing happened?
No, I didn't get lucky.
Because the general perception is that everybody was getting laid at Woodstock, but there were a lot of guys hanging out who weren't getting laid, right?
Yeah, most of us, I think.
Yeah, that's the real truth.
But I mean, that's not why I went. I went to see all these bands, these great bands, 10 years after, and the Who and Hendrix, and there's a lot of good acts.
So you never got to see Hendrix?
I didn't get to see Jimmy. The last act I saw, I think, was Santana, who were great at that thing. But everybody was smoking pot. I didn't do anything in those days. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke pot. I didn't do anything. And everybody was stoned all over the place. And I was like looking at people, wow, look at these people. They're messed up.
Did you have a ticket to Woodstock, or did you just...
No, you just walked in.
You just walked in.
The fence was down when I got there.
Do you like Crosby, Stills and Nash when they do a song like Ohio? In other words, it's not the protest song that you hate. It was just Country Joe and the Fish specifically.
Just that guy in that song bugged me.
It bugged the hell out of you.
You know, I mean, look, you're entitled to your political opinion, but when you start to compromise the music when you use it to deliver propaganda.
Right.
I think.
Billy, I'm excited about this town hall. Not only are people going to ask you questions, I don't want to monopolize all your time, but we have a great artist here today who's actually, I think she has the #1 song in the country right now. Doesn't Adina have that?
Yes.
Yeah, Adina Menzel is here. And,
She's great.
And yet she is terrific. And I have some interesting information about her. She's a fabulous actress and singer-songwriter, currently starring on Broadway in a new musical, If Then. She won an Oscar for Let It Go from the animated film Frozen. John Travolta just
He made
mangled,
her really famous.
mangled
Right,
her
remember
name.
that.
And she won a Tony for Wicked. Not bad. Adina, would you come on out? Thanks. Robin said... Robin said that I mangled your name backstage.
What'd you say?
I said Idina.
Well, Long Island people will say Idina.
Yeah, and it is Adina.
Adina, but...
Adina.
Yeah, am I allowed to come over and give you a
Yes,
kiss?
of course, I love it. When Travolta messes up your name, though, we don't care, right?
We care. We're in front of the whole world.
Yes.
But maybe it's a good thing. I mean, more people know
Everybody
it.
was
No,
talking
now
about
it's
you
amazing,
the
but
next
in the
day.
first
Yeah.
8 seconds that I plan to be very zen and focus on this beautiful song to my son in front of Julia Roberts and Meryl Streep, I thought, don't screw me up right now, sir.
Now,
You know?
now, Billy, you'll love this fact about Adina. I don't even know if you know this. Maybe she grew up in you grew up in Syosset, Long Island, right?
Yep.
And the story goes that you, when you were a kid,
Yes.
you loved Billy so much that you found out where his house was.
Well, we thought we did. We would always go on Billy Joel hunts to find his house.
And you
late
would,
at night.
and you would go, Billy, listen to this. She would go and
He's
try to.
heard this before.
Oh, you have?
I'm sure. No?
Yeah, no, he hasn't heard it.
Okay, well, I dated a guy from Huntington.
Right. And then you would sit out there and wait for Billy to come out.
Yeah, we thought we knew which was his house. It was probably not. And then I was just going to like second base, third base. I don't know what I was doing. To all of Billy Joel
Waiting for
songs, waiting
Billy.
to see if he ever drove out the gate. I don't know.
Yeah, right. So, in other words, you lost your virginity to Billy Joel.
That's. Hello? Am I here? Am
I
still
don't know.
here? Oh. No, yeah, I definitely got felt up and had a guy to go down my.
Do you remember
pants.
what song you got felt up to of Billy's so that we can know? Do you have any recollection of
I
that?
love these days, probably.
Really? Ah, pretty good.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, Dina, we were talking about some favorite Billy Joel songs, and the one that you picked to do today is "Honesty," which is which Billy was originally called "Home Again," right?
That was the first minute I came up with the theme.
Home Again.
Home again. And then I didn't have a lyric for it, so my drummer started to sing Sodomy.
Oh.
Sodomy, such a lonely word. You know?
Right, yeah, I like that.
So I said I better come up with some lyrics fast.
And Billy, when you wrote this song, this was about honesty in relationships, right? That people are just so phony and fake with each other sometimes, we just can't really be truthful.
Yeah.
And that bugs the hell out of you.
Yeah, you really depend on somebody to tell you what's going on. Yeah.
But I was looking at the lyrics last night. I was trying to interpret them. If you search for tenderness, it isn't hard to find. You can have the love you need to live. So you can have love. You can be in love with someone, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have truth.
Right.
Okay, that's sad.
Well,
And my ex-one, when I wrote the song, was from Syosset. So there
Oh,
you
she
go.
was?
there
Yeah.
you go. Well, you want to try this song? Let's see what
Was
happens.
she the rich suburban people?
Now,
doing
Billy,
all
you're
the
going to play
drugs?
the piano for this one?
I'm going to play the piano to accompany Dina, but she does it in a different key.
Oh.
So it's going to be a little...
Are you going to
I
be all
wasn't
right?
trying to be diva about it. It's just,
No, you got to do your thing.
you know.
Yeah. And by the way, we're
He
gonna,
said it was okay.
After you sing this, we're
Yeah.
bringing in your high school boyfriend to feel you up, actually. So it's going to be great.
Oh my God.
Well, I can't wait. Adina, you're such a huge talent.
mad boy.
And this is so much fun.
Gonads.
Here we go.
Well, she's going to depend on me to do this right. So I do it in B flat. She's doing it in D. So here we
So
go.
what do you have to do? You have to transpose this now?
Kind of.
Yeah, all right.